Hello everybody, this is MAW00001, trying something a little bit different here with my reviews for the new DC 52 number 2s. I don't actually have the comics, but I have read them, so yeah, I'm just going to see how this goes, and with any luck, it should go okay. We can but try. As always, this is just my opinion on the comics that DC Comics have brought out for the last week. And as always, if you want to buy the comics, by all means do so. Don't take my word for what they're like. Make up your own opinions. And as always, we go from worst to best. And I don't think this is going to be much of a surprise. The worst comic this week from DC was Hawk and Dove number 2. How does Rob Liefeld do it? How does he constantly get work when he is possibly the only person who can get the human body so wrong when he draws it? The actual comic, there probably is a story there somewhere, but the artwork is so bad, I really had to struggle to get past page 5. It was just a horrible experience. Well, probably one of the worst comic book experiences I've ever had in the 30 plus years I have of reading comics, and I didn't enjoy it one bit. I can't see this comic book going much longer, to tell you the truth. Maybe till 6 issues. Next up, we have Green Arrow number 2. It is a pointless comic. You could quite easily transplant any non-superpowered superhero into this story. There is just nothing to this comic. The artwork's nice. The artwork's really nice, but you need more than nice artwork to sell a comic, I think, nowadays. And Green Arrow hasn't got any story in it whatsoever. Quite tedious, in fact. Next, we have Batwing number 2. Not really a comic I care about, and not really a character I care about either. The artwork in it is gorgeous. Can't fault it. It's just a pity that it's in this comic book. Again, no story here at all. It's just you could quite easily put Batman in it, and I didn't care at all for any of the characters involved in this. And it's another comic that I think is going to get to, well, it'll probably get to 8 issues, maybe 10, and DC will probably pull the plug on it, which is unfortunate really, because I think the Batwing character probably could be quite interesting. It's just unfortunately the stories that he's been put in so far aren't interesting at all. And that leads us to the next one, Static Shock. Why does DC keep on doing this to this character? When Static was first brought out with the Milestone comics, it was a brilliant character. I thought the actual concept, the way the stories were written, the artwork was absolutely phenomenal. Now, Static Shock, I don't think the people who are writing it actually get what the character is about. Again, the artwork's okay, but just no story in there whatsoever. And Justice League International isn't much better. What they're doing with Booster Gold in this is atrocious. The last series that they had of Booster Gold I thought was brilliant. The way that they wanted to make this character, mature him, make him the best superhero, even though nobody would know that he actually was the best superhero in the world. I thought it was a brilliant idea, and it was done so well. This is a massive step back for the character, and it's a massive step back for the Justice League International as a title. And as far as DC sexing up their female characters. Well, the character Godiva is basically a nymphomaniac by the looks of it, as DC seem to be making most of their comic book female characters for some reason. I don't know why, but there you go. Bit of a surprise this week. Action Comics. Wasn't too bad. Quite enjoyable. Artwork was same as the last one. Very nice, but nothing to write home about from Rags Morales. But I just don't think we will see Grant Morrison's best work in this comic. It still feels like he's been stifled, like he's been reined in by somebody at the high up at DC, telling him, "You're not allowed to go full throttle on this. You can write the stories, you can put Superman in whatever situation you want, but no paintings that eat Paris or talking streets or anything that makes a Grant Morrison story a Grant Morrison story." It's okay, but wasn't the best this week. And same can be said for this one. Huntress #1. It's only here because it's just a little bit better than Green Arrow #2. The artwork's alright. The story was a bit better than Green Arrow's #2. But again, it's one of those characters that you could quite easily stick any non-superpowered hero into it. You could quite easily change the Huntress and put in Batwoman or Batgirl, or even someone like Black Canary if she didn't use her canary cry. It was an okay story, but didn't really make me want to pick up #2. And it's a good job this is a mini series. I think this is a mini series anyway. I hope it is, because I don't think it'll go very far. Next we have Stormwatch #2. With this reboot, from what I understand, DC Comics have tried to integrate and merge the Wildstorm superheroes into this, yeah? This comic doesn't seem like they're trying to merge the heroes into the universe as forcibly bang with a ballpoint sledgehammer into the DC universe. They're trying to fit characters into a universe that they're not supposed to be in, and putting John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, into this comic is a great disservice to the character of the Martian Manhunter. It's an okay story. The artwork's really nice, but it doesn't fit into the DC universe. Stormwatch should have stayed with Wildstorm, and that's it really. Next we have the Penguin, Pain and Prejudice. Was a really good story. I enjoyed reading it. The artwork, excuse me, the artwork was very atmospheric, and even though DC has done this whole, the whole telling of the origin of the Penguin, the way they've portrayed the Penguin now as such a nasty, evil, spiteful person. You know the old saying that they may be ugly on the outside, but they're beautiful on the inside. Well, this comic shows that the Penguin is ugly on the outside and even uglier on the inside. He is a vile, vile, contemptuous character who will do anything to anybody if they cheese him off. And I thought it was a really good story. Very violent though. Very violent still. OMAC #2. The honeymoon period for OMAC is over. I really liked the first issue. It was a wow. It had wow factor for me. This second issue has no wow factor whatsoever. The shine has come off of it. The artwork's still really nice, but the story isn't there. And I now think that the reason why they've got Keith Giffen doing this comic is so that he doesn't get itchy fingers and want to try and draw or do another Ambush Bug, because I know how much Dan Didio hates Ambush Bug, unfortunately, because I love Ambush Bug. I think they should have Ambush Bug ongoing series and a movie and a cartoon and everything. But, you know, I digress. This comic, not very good. Not as good as the first one. The surprise of the week, Detective Comics #2. Detective Comics #1 was just boring. This one is a lot better. Not as good as Batman #1, but a lot better than the first issue, and a lot better than Batman and Robin and Batman Legends of the Dark Knight. If you're really looking to get a second Batman comic, get this one after the Batman comic. The story, it was a bit slow at the beginning, and I thought, oh, here we go, same old from the last comic, from the last issue. But this one actually picked up a lot. The artwork in it is really good as well. Really goes well with the story. And this comic was a big surprise to me when I read it. It was really good. We have Red Lanterns #2. Peter Milligan is a brilliant writer, and he has really captured what I would imagine it would be like to want revenge on somebody. Luckily enough, I've never been in that situation, but this is possibly how it would feel, as close to how it would feel to really want to have revenge on somebody, so much so that you would be willing to do anything to get revenge on a person that's hurt you in some way. Peter Milligan has made what could possibly be one-dimensional characters so full of many layers, and they're not just rage, they are actually worth reading. Swamp Thing #2. Brilliant. Artwork's brilliant. Story's brilliant. Obviously, not as good as the Alan Moore Swamp Things. Nothing is ever going to be that good, unless maybe Alan Moore, comes back, or we have another amazing writer on the comic and on the character. But as far as this comic goes and this version of Swamp Thing goes, it's a really interesting comic. You want a comic that makes you want to pick up the next issue, and this is one of those comics. The artwork's gorgeous. The writing in it is really nice. And I wouldn't be surprised going on this comic. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to make a third Swamp Thing movie, because it is a really good comic, but not as good as the #1 comic this week, which is Animal Man. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Can't fault it. Some comics you read one issue, and you read the second issue, and you get that whole, oh, it's been a month since I read the last issue to this issue. This one, there is no let up of pace. It just goes straight from the first issue straight into the second issue, and it's just a roller coaster. It is brilliant. The artwork is fantastic, absolutely gorgeous. The storytelling in it is gripping. You want to turn the next page to see what happens, but you can't, because you need to read the page you're on to find out what's going on. It's one of those comics where you want to get to the end, but you shouldn't. It's a brilliant comic, and I can't wait for #3 to come out. Really can't. Well, there you go. That's all the DC comics that I've read so far this week. You've probably noticed that I've missed out Men of War #2. It's because I haven't read it yet, so I didn't think it was very fair for me to obviously review it if I haven't read it. Let me know what you think of this style of reviewing. Hopefully I should do more live reviews, obviously showing you what comics I get from eBay or any pickups that I do during the week. But to the time being, this is unfortunately going to be the way I'm going to have to review weekly comics, sadly. So yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you everybody who's subscribed so far. If you like my channel, please do subscribe and comment underneath as well. And as it says, that's all, folks. Thank you for watching. Ta-ta for now.